But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
Oh, we remember that, don't we? Let's finish that clip before we start the show.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. Indeed, I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate.
With a mustache and a supernova, tossed off the cliffs of Dover.
Yes, lies. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Jay-Z, your host for Flashpoint Radio, and it is February 28th, the last day of February 2013. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, I know I could do an episode every night on lies and lies the government tells, but I'm going to just do one. We're going to look at some video, and we're going to go over some lies you do know, some you may not know, and then we're going to ask you, going forward, if they're lying about these things, then what else could they be lying about? We are going to start this evening, after that classic Bill Clinton lie, we'll go to this lie that we always remember, since we're already on a video tip.
Read my lips. No new taxes. I will.
Man, that one never gets old. Just go to YouTube and search George H.W. Bush, New World Order. For all of you who don't believe the New World Order exists, you'll hear a former president talk about it quite often. Let's look at something a little more contemporary and something that may be affecting you right now. How about this lie?
And I can make a firm pledge. Under my plan, no family making less than $250,000 a year will see any form of tax increase. Not your income tax, not your payroll tax, not your capital gains taxes, not any of your taxes.
Our current commander-in-chief telling us that he would never raise taxes on anyone making under $250K. Your payroll taxes went up in January, or was it February 1st? Yeah, they did. If you don't know, you might want to check your paycheck stub. And well, let's go back a little bit to a lie from the 1960s that this is one you may not know about, but if you don't, you should research it. Another former president.
That renewed hostile actions against United States ships on the high seas in the Gulf of Tonkin have today required me to order the military forces of the United States to take action in reply by a number of hostile vessels attacking two U.S. destroyers with torpedoes. The destroyers and supporting aircraft acted at once on the orders I gave after the initial act of aggression. We believe at least two of the attacking boats were sunk. There were no U.S. losses.
Yep, that's Lyndon Johnson reporting on the supposed Gulf of Tonkin accident. Robert McNamara came out later to say that the Gulf of Tonkin incident was not true. And that is the single incident trumpeted by the administration and the country, and the government, to get us into the Vietnam War. A war that pretty much changed everything in this country. A war that drove the left against America and into America hating, and a war that drove the right into war hawkishness because they had to support their men and women, even though the mission those men and women were on was completely contrived. So yeah, if you don't know about the Gulf of Tonkin incident, look it up. It was a lie. And how about another war? Oh, well, we don't call them wars anymore. We call them operations. How about this from the Washington Post? We don't have video of this. Curveball, man who lied about WMDs comes clean. Yeah, that WMDs, weapons of mass destruction, that Colin Powell got up and talked about as the reason for entering Iraq in 2005, yeah, that all came from a man called Curveball. And he was an informant in Iraq. And yeah, he came out to a British newspaper and said, yeah, I lied about everything. Sorry. But it's not. But you know, Colin Powell came out and said, yeah, they lied to us. But I wasn't lying. Lie. They were lying. So yes, the second Iraq war started on a lie. You look at most wars, and a lot of them are started on a lie. And you say, well, maybe they just don't know. Maybe they're just naive, or maybe they're just stupid. No, they're not stupid. They didn't get into positions of power by accident. This comes to us from DemocraticUnderground.com, and this is a quote attributed to Karl Rove. Quote, "We're an empire now, and when we act, we create our own reality. And while you're studying that reality, judiciously as you will, we'll act again, creating other new realities, which you can study too. And that's how things will sort out. We're history's actors. And you, all of you, will be left to just study what we do." Oh, thank you, Karl Rove, for speaking down to us. Let's go to current video. This is from this month, from the former press secretary of President Barack Obama. And this basically just highlights everything. This one's maddening to say the least.
When I went through the process of becoming press secretary, one of the first things they told me was, you're not even to acknowledge the drone program. You're not even to discuss that it exists.
Wow.
And you're being asked a question based on reporting of a program that exists.
Right.
So you're the official government spokesperson,
Exactly.
acting as if the entire program, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Right, yeah.
The Wizard of Oz, yes, the man behind the curtain. That's it. That's it. They're just lying to you. They're not stupid. They're not naive. They're not thinking they're doing the right thing. They're lying. They're lying. Ben Bernanke, one of the biggest liars, and he just looks straight-faced as he lies. But he tells some of the whoppers, like no inflation, the job market's improving, the housing market's improving, all of these things. Lies, lies, lies. So what does this lead up to? Well, it leads up to this lie, the lie that's going to be, in the news tomorrow, going forward. It's the hot topic, sequestration, from the Business Insider. The biggest myth about the upcoming sequester is that it does anything to control the debt, because it doesn't. They're lying to you. They can pay for it. They just don't want to. They need more money. The budgets have never been made, but they're set to spend more money every year. This is just sequestration. We're going to furlough federal workers. No, those workers are going to come back and get their money after the fact. And it's your money. They're going to get it. They're going to get it no matter what. The government, if it involves raising your taxes or spending more money, will get it passed. That's the one thing they will always get it passed. What are some other lies in your life that you may not know about? How about that your baby needs a Social Security number? How do I know that? My baby doesn't have a Social Security number. Or how about that your child needs a vaccine to go to public school? Maybe you should check in on that one. States to state laws apply, but chances are your child can go to school without those vaccines. And how about a lie you tell your kids that starts the entire generation on lies? Santa Claus. Maybe you should stop lying to your kids if you expect your government to stop lying to you. And this is the biggest lie. The reason I wanted to bring up lies is this. From Fox News, top global accounting firm, U.S. debt crisis bigger than you think. He's talking about the U.S. debt crisis, $16.2 trillion or something, and how we're going to pass all this down to our children and how it's unsustainable. Lie. All of it, lie. Guess what? It's not your debt. That's the biggest myth. How do I know that? This comes to us from CNBC, and this is them explaining what sovereign debt is. Sovereign debt is when a government issues bonds in a currency that's not the government's, i.e. selling debt, selling treasuries to China or another country. Well, in this article by CNBC, they put in this little nugget of truth. It's important to note sovereign debt is technically owed by a government and not the citizens of the country issuing the sovereign bonds. It's not the national debt. National debt is debt that, is used for things inside this country, not for black ops and military spending and all of these other things. So yes, sovereign debt. And when they start trumpeting the sovereign debt crisis, sovereign debt is owned by our government, not you, not me, because we are sovereign and cannot own the debt of a government that does not represent us. And my government doesn't represent me anymore. And I hope you're starting to get the point and get the picture that it shouldn't represent you, and you should be angry at your government. It doesn't mean act in anger, but get angry. Get angry, because they've been lying to you. They will always lie. It is the nature of governments. So I thank you for joining me on this Government Lies edition of Flashpoint Radio. Come and see me next time. Jay-Z signing off saying God bless and keep your eyes to the sky.
Who's that riding? Here on the book of the seven seals.